This notion of seeing the world through God's eyes is something we always struggle to do. I don't care who you are or where you are on the planet, we don't see clearly. We see, I think the Apostle Paul said, we see through a glass dimly. We have all of these lenses that cloud our vision. So in America, we might have a male lens, a female lens. We might have a black lens or a white lens, a rich lens or a poor lens, a Republican lens, a Democrat lens. I sometimes have to remind Christians that Jesus' kingdom was not of this world, and either is ours. We're part of God's kingdom. We're citizens of God's kingdom. We're called Christ's ambassadors on earth. Being an American is way down the priority list compared to being a follower of Jesus Christ. And sometimes by osmosis, we absorb the culture around us. If the political narrative is that we should be afraid of Muslims, then we're afraid of Muslims. If the political narrative is that refugees might be terrorists, then we fear that refugees might be terrorists. And so we start to embrace the worldview that might be presented in our politics or our culture. And as Christians, we've always got to try to see the world as God sees the world. And when He sees refugees, He sees people made in His image, precious in His sight, many of whom have never heard the gospel, who are absolutely desperate. And then He looks at His church and says, where's my church? Why isn't my church on the front lines of this human suffering, being my ambassadors? But we're reading the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, and we're not seeing the world sometimes through God's eyes. And so how do we do that? Well, we spend more time in Scripture. We spend more time in prayer trying to seek God's will. And we don't get sucked into cultural or political narratives that pull us further from the heart of Christ, but we look for those things that will pull us closer.